Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Devonport Road's Harvest Weekend. It's harvest time, and we're grateful to the Lord for all that He has given to us through yet another harvest. Last time I began a series of the story parables that Jesus told, as recorded by Luke in Luke's Gospel. And we began, if you remember, with the parable of the two debtors, two people who owed money. But before we went into that story, we just looked a little bit at what parables were like and how they work. And if you remember, we did a puzzle, because the word parable is like our word for puzzle. And we tried a word search puzzle. Now, there's lots of kinds of puzzles that we do, jigsaws and sudokus and crosswords and word searches, lots of different kinds. But the satisfaction we get is in working them out. Now, when Jesus tells parables, he's not trying to hide things from us, but he does want us to work them out. He wants us to listen well to get his deeper meaning. And today's parable is about exactly that. It's about listening well to what Jesus wants us to hear and to know. And it's called the parable of the sower. And it's about a farmer who goes out into his field to sow his seed. And in those days, they had a bag of seed and they would just throw it, scatter it onto their field. So I'm going to read to you the parable. It's Luke chapter 8, beginning at verse 4. While a large crowd was gathering and people were coming to Jesus from town after town, he told this parable. A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path. It was trampled on, and the birds of the air ate it up. Some fell on rock, and when it came up, the plants withered because they had no moisture. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up with it and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil. It came up and yielded a crop, 100 times more than was sown. When he had said this, he called out, "He who has ears to hear, let him hear." In other words, if anybody really wants to hear, let him understand the deeper meaning of what I've just said. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I did some sowing. I sowed some grass seed into 4 trays. And what I'd like to do now is to show you how my sowing has got on. The very first tray actually had no soil in it at all. So this is really like the seed that fell on the path. So here's my first tray.